The magnificent Bahrain International Circuit sits majestically in the desert, situated just 30 kilometers from the capital Manama. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix, where practice is about to get underway. This weekend's night race will definitely be a challenge for some of the drivers, as not all of them have driven under lights before, so they'll need to quickly adapt to the conditions.
They will have already acclimatised and configured their normal race weekend routine to a night schedule, but I can't wait to see which driver gets up to speed the quickest in these conditions.
This has been an exciting track in times gone by, and typically it entertains the moment the lights go out.
We've seen in the past how tricky the first corner is. It's not an issue in practice and qualifying, but if you throw a lot of highly competitive drivers at it all at once, you've got an entirely different situation. The smarter drivers will be able to temper their approach and stay out of trouble, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
Alright, so what's up guys, and welcome to part 3 of my Daniil Kvyat Road to Glory series here on the PS4, as we're now in practice just setting up our setup for the weekend. And gonna go down and pick Bahrain, as I got a lot of setups here, and going down and pick Bahrain there, and we're gonna go 1-1 wings. Or did I pick 1-1 wings? I didn't even get to see. Anyway, that was really quick. So now let's jump into qualifying and see how we do. Alright, so here we are, picking the option tires for our one-shot qualifying run, getting ready, going across the start-finish line now, getting control of the car, going up into 8th gear, coming down towards turn 1. You want to brake where the curb starts, and then try to really mount the curb on the inside, try to cut the corner as much as possible without really cutting it. But now I'm trying to make the car run wide there without losing guys. It's really easy on the traction, especially on this game, how twitchy the traction is. And now running a bit wide on the entry there, but managing to at least sort of keep up with Hamilton, who's currently in the lead. And now we're up into P9 actually after this section, even though we didn't really get it right. Now we're all over the place in the timing sheets. But anyway, coming towards this very tricky double left-hander, which you really need to get right if you want to get a good lap. And we actually got it right, so we're now currently set for P10, which would be a really good result. And coming towards the final, actually the third sector soon, coming towards this very fast section of the track, going to this long right-hander, and then coming up towards, this is the beginning of sector 3. It's a very late apex here. You want to make sure to not run too wide there, because you lose time, even though you think you might gain time of it. But going towards the final corner now, also a track where you can just run a bit wide, as we run massively wide, but we run a bit too wide there, but we're still P9. Are we going to be able to hold it for this qualifying? Yes, we are. P9 for Daniil Kvyat in this one-shot qualifying. So here we are, someone congratulating Daniil Kvyat, a totally different person from the man who talks to him when he's depressed after qualifying, which is weird. So anyway, P9, just behind Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso, really close to the guys ahead, so we just might have a really good race tomorrow. Even P4, P5, yeah, those positions are just at hand for us. So let's do this. So here we are on the starting grid, getting ready as the light sequence is underway. We got 5 lights and away we go. We have Kimi Räikkönen ahead of us, getting a pretty decent start, but Sergio Perez and Nico Hülkenberg behind us getting amazing starts. So we can see Button also struggling, but now Perez driving it down the inside. We're also going to do the same thing, slightly hitting him, but still managing to get away from the corner without any major damage. Now Alonso just ahead of us. We're going to try to pull a move on him. Sergio Perez is going to try to pull a move on us, going down into this corner. We'll brake as late as possible, covering the inside, and Jenson Button almost loses it ahead of us, but manages to save the car and not crash into the wall, causing a yellow flag for a longer time. But now coming down to towards this corner, just behind Fernando Alonso, still we want to make a move as quickly as possible to try and get past them and maybe chase the guys ahead, since we do have really good pace in this car on this track. Now coming down to this double left-hander, it's really crucial to get a good exit out of that corner to be able to close up to the guys ahead. But now we're really getting chased up by Jenson Button, who is in a really much better car, I think. Now this part of the track is really where I'm the fastest, so we might be able to make a move on Alonso somewhere around here or at the start finish straight. So Alonso sliding a bit through that corner. This is hitting the really late apex in this corner. It's really crucial also to be able to be close to your car ahead going on to this final corner, which is a corner that you can really extend without really extending off the track, if you can say so. It's a corner that goes away from the apex on the outside. I don't really know if that's a good explanation, but anyway, sticking it up into real fuel mix now, rich fuel mix now, and coming down into the first corner, still behind Fernando Alonso on lap 2 here, and he's now closing up to Daniil Ricciardo, who's ahead of him, and Button really getting good traction out of that first corner. And now we're coming down into the second sector of the lap, and you can see Alonso really catching up to the train ahead, and we're also trying to do it, but really good pace just about now from Alonso. But now you can see in this section he's really going slowly, so we're going to dive it down the inside, but he's gotten away from us on the traction. That's the usual problem on this game. The AIs are really strong on the traction zones. And now coming down to this double left-hander once again, we really want to try and make a move on Alonso as soon as possible. Now we can see +2 laps on fuel, and this is really Alonso. He's pretty slow in this section. We're going to try around the outside. Maybe no, he gives us really no space there, and he didn't really have to since we were behind him. So now mounting that curb there, coming through this penultimate corner, and still, as I said, behind Fernando Alonso here on lap 2. Really crucial that we overtake him soon, otherwise we're going to get stuck in this train and Button is going to close up on us and we're going to probably lose a position to him. Now really close to Fernando Alonso here, going on to lap 3 very soon. We're going to be able to pull a move on him without DRS, just the slipstream. Now going to the inside, gonna have to brake a bit later, maybe to make the move stick, and we actually have, as Alonso tries to outbrake us, but he's really gone deep. And now we are in P7 behind Daniil Ricciardo in P6, and I think ahead of him is his teammate Sebastian Vettel. So now cutting on to the end of lap 3, as we got Ricciardo just ahead of us. We get a slight twitch of oversteer going through that final corner, now getting DRS, and we got the slipstream. Even though Ricciardo has DRS, we're going to be able to pull a move on him into the first corner, braking at the curb and locking up to not hit Vettel ahead, since we broke so late there. And now we got Vettel and Massa ahead of us, and we're actually up into P6, which is a tremendous result for a Toro Rosso, especially in this race. But we really seem to have good pace, so maybe P4 is somewhere that we might be able to go, as we're now coming into this very twisty section of Sector 2. And we can see Vettel going really slowly here, maybe going to be able to pull a move on him very soon. And Massa ahead of him, really struggling, and I think Vettel wants to pull a move on Massa as soon as possible. And now this double left-hander once again, I'm having trouble with understeer going into that corner. I had some trouble with that during this race, but now DRS is activated and we're using rich fuel mix to try and pull away from Ricciardo, who's really seems to have good pace, but we managed to get ahead of him anyway, so that must be frustrating for him. But now Vettel really struggling behind Felipe Massa, not being able to pull a move with that Renault engine, Renault power unit in his car, which is really not giving him enough power. So we're going to maybe be able to pull a move going on to the start finish right here, going on to lap 5 very soon, trying to extend the track as much as possible. But Vettel has really braked early and we hit the rear of his car, and that's not going to be, we're not going to be able to pull a move on this lap because of that. So he really held us up. And now cutting on to the start of Sector 2 here on lap 5, and you can see Vettel still behind Felipe Massa, not being able to pull a move. And now we're going to dive it down the inside of Sebastian Vettel here. He's probably going to be able to out-traction us here, and he really has been able to do that. That is a big problem on this game. The AIs are really OP in the traction zones, so if you're going to overtake an AI, you really need to get a good exit and be fast in a straight line. So that's why I'm using 1-1 wings for this weekend, I think. Now going into the third sector soon. This is really fast part of the track with this long right hander here. Maybe we're going to be able to pull a move here. No, Vettel is just too far ahead, and we're going to maybe make a move on the start finish straight on Sebastian Vettel, because we really want to make a move on Massa ahead too, because he really seems to be struggling, and maybe we can catch the cars ahead of Felipe Massa, and maybe we have a shot of the podium here. So now we are gonna be getting DRS, and we're gonna be really close to Sebastian Vettel here. We're gonna try to make a move on the braking zones, gonna really brake late here, and Sebastian Vettel is trying to outbrake us, but he's gone deep. All the AIs seem to do that, so it's the perfect place to make a move for me, because the AIs always seem to go deep when put under pressure. Now cutting on to the end of lap 6, and Massa is actually going to box this lap, so we're going to try to stay out and do the overcut, if it's called that. I think it's called the overcut. I know it's the undercut when you pit earlier, but the overcut I think is when you pit later. So anyway, now cutting on to the end of lap 7, we're going to box from first position, and hopefully we're going to hopefully we have been able to outpace Massa, and maybe we're going to pass him. So I think we are going to be able to do that, because the gap between all the cars behind is really big. So anyway, now about to leave the pits just about now, getting on full power, not getting the second gear glitch, which you really don't want to get in this game. Then you're pretty much screwed. As we're on cold tires braking, we actually got Rosberg behind us, and he's gonna outpace us on his very warm medium prime tires, but we got really cold prime tires, and that is just a nightmare to drive. Now coming on to lap 12, not really much happened from here on, except we had a really fast Sebastian Vettel behind us. He really tried to close the gap, and he wanted this P4, but he just seemed to not have enough pace to maybe close up to us for the end of the race, because we really seemed to have enough pace for this P4. We really deserved it in this race. We can say in Australia we really had a pretty poor race until the final lap, where all the cars had a lot of troubles. But now coming on to P14, just Vettel really close behind us, and Sebastian Vettel just trying so hard behind us to get close. Maybe, just maybe, he thought he had a chance, but we just had the better pace. Well, not the better pace, but we had enough good pace. As we go wide on the final corner, the car just let us go there. It's gonna all lose in the rear end, but we're gonna manage to come home P5 as Daniil Kvyat here in Bahrain. What an amazing result for Daniil Kvyat, and the team principal is surely gonna be very impressed with that. And I'm gonna leave you with Crofty for the results.
No one could compete with the Mercedes today, as they take home another race win.
It really was a wonderful performance, and one that the team will be celebrating for some time to come.
Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So guys, that's P4 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. What a tremendous result for Daniil Kvyat, the new rookie for this season, getting 12 points in the Drivers' Championship. And I think we're now going to be 10 points ahead of Jenson Button, which is really amazing for, as I said, a first season. Yeah, here we go. We can see 10 points ahead of Jenson Button, and now 30 points behind Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. This has been Wingsman 001 with Daniil Kvyat, Road to Glory. And of course, yeah, here's the Constructors' Championship with us in P4. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you next time. Peace.